The most important, though also most often overlooked step in creating a YouTube video that's actually going to do well in the algorithm and help your channel grow is planning. Many beginner creators get excited, have an idea for a video, and immediately pick up their camera and start filming. And then usually later in the editing, they end up realizing that they missed getting a lot of footage and maybe what they're saying doesn't quite make sense. The best way to be efficient and to create videos that are going to perform well for your channel every single time is to invest your time into pre-production. The most successful YouTubers have a solid video planning routine and system that they implement every time they go to create a new video, and that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do to plan out my YouTube videos to make sure that I'm optimizing for high click-through rate and long average view duration so that I can get as many videos as possible to show up on the homepage and help to grow my audience. So let's go plan a video. So let's start with the hardest part, coming up with an idea. Sometimes amazing ideas just come to you. I feel like shower thoughts are always the best YouTube video ideas. Or maybe you're inspired by something that you're reading or another video that you watched and you just have this like lightning strike idea. I'll be honest, these usually make the best videos, but this is also the hardest thing to control. You can't just like generate an incredible idea out of thin air. And so when these things come along, the rare times that they do, we embrace them, we make videos about them. But when they don't, we implement the steps I'm about to share to try to come up with, you know, good ideas. Great ideas are something you can't really control. They come to you and they come to you. But good ideas are something that you can generate. And sometimes you just need to create good content consistently. If you wait around for a great idea, lightning to strike, you'll probably hardly ever post a video. So my first source of good ideas is my Notion database. So when those great ideas strike or when just general ideas come to me about potential videos I could make, I list them in my Notion database so that when it comes time for me to make my next weekly YouTube video, I can reference this list and pick something from it, or it at least gives me a starting point. Generally, I would recommend that any content creator keeps a running list like this because you're gonna end up having ideas that you can't implement immediately, so make sure you store them somewhere so you can come back to them later. Next inspo source is the comment section and my DMs. When I'm trying to think of what video I should make next, I always want to turn to the audience, to the community, and see what kind of requests I'm getting. And it's not even that people will message me saying, can you please make a video about this? I mean, they do sometimes, but that's not the most frequent thing. What you want to do more so, rather than just look for literal requests, is try to read between the lines of what people are struggling with and what people are most interested in. So if you're getting a lot of questions that are specifically about one topic, or you just see people in the comment section really connecting with a certain theme that you've shared, these are really good indicators of what your audience might want to see next from you. So it's really important that you learn to kind of do a vibe check of your comments and your DMs, because that's very valuable information that can give you a great idea for a video. Other important places that you can check for ideas. Inside YouTube Studio, if you go to your analytics tab and then you click on audience along the top there, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see that there are two really helpful boxes. One of them is the channels that your audience watches. Here you'll see a roundup of 3 pages of channels that a lot of your subscribers watch in addition to your own. You can look through these channels, see what types of videos these creators make, and get inspiration from them. If you're seeing creators that you know kind of make very similar stuff to yourself, I wouldn't recommend necessarily going through their content and gaining ideas from that, because you don't want to end up just being a copycat. But where I think this section of YouTube Studio can actually be really helpful is when you stumble across channels that might surprise you. You might not realize that your subscribers are also interested in these new or different topics. And that's where you can really gain inspiration for maybe trying out a new format, incorporating a different subject matter or style. Even more helpful than this other channels your audience watches is the box right below it, which is labeled what your audience watches. And this is basically a list of videos, so not necessarily specific channels, but videos from across several channels that your audience has shown interest in. This is really great insight to see what other types of videos, what other type of content your audience is interested in seeing. Again, this might encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, do something outside of the box. And it's also just a really great place to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what your audience is interested in this moment. Okay, so once I've checked all these places and I've found some pretty good title ideas that I think I might want to run with, there's two different places that I like to check my titles in. So the first one is with this browser extension called TubeBuddy. Inside TubeBuddy, there's a tool called Keyword Explorer, and basically it allows you to input a potential YouTube title and it'll give you a score based on the SEO optimization of that title. Honestly, I'm not overly concerned with making my titles perfectly SEO friendly, but by going through this Keyword Explorer step, I'm able to see the other search results that come up when I put in my title. So I can get a brief look at how other creators have been approaching this topic, and I might start to get some ideas about how I could design my own thumbnail to make sure that it stands out from the other search results. Ideally, you'd like your TubeBuddy score to be like 80 up to 100, but like I said, it's not just all about SEO optimization. The next step is maybe even more important. And that's putting your title idea into this online app called thumbsup.tv. Really, all thumbsup.tv is a site where you can get a preview of what your title and thumbnail will look like at the different sizes that the YouTube website will display it at. Really, the reason why I love this site is because you can see whether or not your title is going to be truncated or shortened on YouTube. At this stage in the planning, I don't have a thumbnail ready yet, so usually I'll just drag in an image, like maybe a thumbnail from a past video. All I'm really testing here is how does my title look at these different sizes that YouTube will display. You really want to make sure that the most enticing or interesting part of your title is not going to get cut off, and that it's still going to be really intriguing and clickable in these different ways it'll be displayed. Now that you've got your title solidified, the next crucial step is determining what your thumbnail design is going to be. By the way, please ignore my massive stack of cardboard boxes in the background. I've got some IKEA furniture to assemble. I've actually got some big plans for like home office / creator studio upgrades, so like let me know if you'd want to see a video on that. Anyway, when it comes to thumbnails, sometimes I might like sketch it out on my iPad or on a piece of paper or something like that to start to almost storyboard it, like just figure out what the general placement of everything is gonna be. But more often than not, I'll just make a few notes for myself about how I visualize it in my mind, which works because I'm not trying to communicate this to anybody else. I'm the only one making it. So I might just write down something like Katie on left third of frame, holding up laptop with Premiere Pro on screen, like that kind of thing. Now, when it comes to coming up with a solid thumbnail design, I think one really great place to start is back with those TubeBuddy search results, or even if you don't have TubeBuddy, just searching your title in YouTube and seeing what the results look like, and taking a look at those thumbnails and thinking about how you can make yours stand out from the rest. When it comes to my thumbnail design in general, I like to think that I take a little bit more of like a soft and natural and like aesthetic approach than some other like YouTube tips or social media tips videos that are a lot more like graphics heavy and like punchy, just because that's my vibe. But you know, it's about a balance of personal branding and then also making your stuff stand out from the other options that a potential viewer might face when they're looking for your video. In general though, you want to take the title that you've come up with and really ask yourself, how can I visually represent this title? Especially doing it in a way that has a slightly different approach or slightly different flavor to it than your title did, because your title and thumbnail are kind of both opportunities for you to capture the attention of a potential viewer, so you don't want to kind of waste one of them on just duplicating the other. And if you can throw an additional little twist into your thumbnail that just adds a little bit more curiosity, that is going to be a real recipe for success. So let's talk about one of my recent videos, which I think is a good example of this, because it was kind of my top performer in the last little while. And that's this video that I made titled "The Lie You've Been Told About YouTube Growth." Now, the thumbnail is quite minimalist, quite straightforward. It's me holding up a vlogging camera, and then the text behind me says, "Don't niche down." So here's the twist of this thumbnail. When you see the title, "The Lie You've Been Told About YouTube Growth," and then you see text that accompanies it saying, "Don't niche down," it's not exactly clear, is the lie "don't niche down," or is the lie you've been told niche down and I'm like telling you not to because that's a lie you've been told? It seems fairly simple, but this little twist of unclear wording leaves the viewer wondering what the answer is. What is the lie I've been told about YouTube growth? What is the correct approach when it comes to having a niche? So with this title and thumbnail pairing, I've been able to generate more questions that I've answered, which makes people more likely to click on the video because they want the answers now. So when you're designing your thumbnail, try to think about how you can generate more questions that you will answer in the video that'll make people want to click. A well-designed thumbnail is such a crucial part of the success of your YouTube video. So if you're not feeling overly confident about your design skills, then I highly recommend you check out the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning platform with thousands of classes for creatives on topics that range from videography to design to productivity and freelancing. If you want to develop your graphic design skills in particular so that you can improve your YouTube thumbnails, then I highly recommend that you check out Great Graphic Design, Create Emotional, Gripping Typographic Art by Sophia Yeshi. Sophia dives into all the basic principles that are gonna help you improve as a designer and therefore make some really fire thumbnails. Visual design skills are honestly so crucial for so many aspects of being a content creator, not just in making thumbnails. So it's a really essential foundation. And the best part is you can try out that Skillshare class by Sophia totally for free when you use the link in my description. The first 500 people to use my link will get 1 month free of Skillshare. So make sure you go check that out, linked below. And as always, thanks so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. All right, now that we have our title and thumbnail decided on, it's time to actually outline our video and decide on our talking points. For me, almost every video I make is based on having 3 to 4, maybe 5 at most main talking points. This can take many different formats. For example, you could make a list like this video, 7 things I wish I knew before I started on YouTube. But it doesn't have to be, it could also be a step-by-step process, like this video is an example of that. Or it could just be 3 totally separate ideas or strategies or advice or whatever that fits along a similar theme. But the point is, for me, I feel like there's a good balance of having like 3 or 4 talking points. It makes the video feel full and complete, and it just kind of gives me a structure to get started with. By the way, if you're curious, I do plan out all of my videos with my viral YouTube video template in Notion. Basically, this template just ensures that I don't skip any of the crucial planning steps and that I've really thought of everything that I can do to make my video as successful as possible in the algorithm. If you want to use this template for yourself, I'm gonna have it linked in the description below. But if you're watching this through my membership, Hi Creator Club members, then you already get it for free, so you can check out the description for that too. All right, so once you've figured out what your 3 kind of main talking points are gonna be, it's time to actually dive in and write this script. You always gotta start with a snappy intro. I really believe you want your intro to be like 30 seconds max. You wanna dive in immediately to what people are curious about, why they clicked. So address what you teed up in the title and thumbnail, because if you don't, people are gonna think it's clickbait and they probably won't stick around very long. And you also just wanna be as concise and to the point as possible. Don't dive in with, hey everybody, what's up? How's it going? It's a beautiful day out today, blah, blah, blah. You can bring in the personality, you can bring in the life updates later once you've already hooked them. And crucially in this step, if you can, you really want to set up a further question or kind of tee up your next point. Like, yeah, but the most important thing is actually this. And in addition to keeping things really concise and to the point, you also want to, if you can, open up another question, another piece of curiosity to keep people watching to the next point. So you address what you brought up in the title and thumbnail, and then you say, but wait, there's more. Actually, the most important thing is what I'm going to talk about next. Or whatever. So usually I write out my intros word for word because I want to be as concise as possible, and I want to make sure those first 30 seconds are as effective as they can be at keeping people watching. But then as I move into the further talking points in the video, I'm just gonna make bullet point notes about it, because for me personally, I just think it comes across as more natural and a bit more engaging when I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head. But I have my notes, so I'm like, I'm staying on track here, but I'm not trying to read lines from a script. But I think that's gonna vary person to person. Like if you feel really awkward trying to just come up with stuff as you go, then maybe you want to have it more scripted. But for me, I just feel better knowing like, okay, this is the point I'm trying to get across. Now I'm gonna just like ad lib to talk about it. Okay, and finally, for your outro, you wanna write something that's actually going to lead your viewers into your next video. This is really important because the success of any given video in the algorithm, yes, it's about click-through rate, yes, it's about retention, but it's also about keeping people on the platform in general. So not just about individual view duration, but about watch session duration. So if you can keep people watching your videos, like your videos will be rewarded in the algorithm because you're keeping people on YouTube longer. And of course, just like straightforwardly, it will give that video that you promoted another view because you're sending people over there to watch it. If you do this really successfully, people can end up binging your channel, and then that's how they end up being a returning viewer. If they actually watch your video and then go ahead and watch more videos from you and so on, they'll see more and more videos from you on the homepage. That's how you grow your audience in general. The next step is to polish your script. Read through your entire script from start to finish and make any additions that you think are necessary, and take out any sections that you think might be repetitive or just drag on a little bit. This is also the stage where you want to start adding in plans for potential B-roll, graphics that you might create for the video, any animations. In the template that I use, I have a secondary column that's titled shot list, but essentially what it is just notes about the visuals that I intend to include with that segment of the video. So this is when I go through and I read the script to myself and I really try to visualize, like, what does this look like in video form? I almost try to have the video playing in my mind as I read through my notes. And so as I am mentioning certain things, certain visuals come to mind for me. Let's take the B-roll segment at the beginning of this video, for example. As I'm reading through my script and I'm saying stuff like, oh, you know, new YouTubers get excited, they pick up the camera right away. In my mind, I'm seeing, okay, I'm gonna show myself looking enthusiastic, picking up a camera, and then to end it off, I'm gonna show myself sitting at the computer, seeming a little bit frustrated and disappointed because I didn't do the planning I needed to do. So you can see how you can apply this to any circumstance. Like anytime you're describing something or you're talking about something that could be shown in a visual manner, write down your notes now about what that B-roll can be so then you remember to film it when you're filming your video. During this part of the process too, you could make a few notes on where you want to film each segment. Like as you can tell, I like to film different sections of the video in different locations. So you can make some notes about that as well. Once you have your video scripted, first of all, congrats, because I think you've just overcome the hardest part of the YouTube creation process, but you're not finished quite yet because now it's time to film. And there are some crucial steps that you're gonna wanna implement so that you can make the most out of your filming process and create the best video possible to help grow your channel. In this video, I take you through my personal filming process so you can see how I set up my camera, I get my angles, I film in all of my different areas of my apartment, I give you some variety. So if you wanna see exactly how I go about this, including dealing with making mistakes, starting from the top, you know, all of that good stuff, watch this video next. I really do think it'll make you feel better about your filming process. That's what I've heard from a lot of people. Because nobody gets it perfect the first time, so don't stress about that. All right, so go ahead, watch this video next so you can see how to film the lovely script that you've just created. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I hope that my little nasally sick voice hasn't been too annoying in this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.